Did you file your homestead exemption last year and you own property? If not, you better stay tuned on this video because I'm going to tell you how much money you will save by filing homestead. Hey there, Sabina Robertson with Silver International Realty, your local real estate expert from 30A all the way to Destin and surrounding area. Thank you so much for shining in my YouTube channel. It is my goal to provide you with excellent resources and tips on buying, selling, and also educate you about this beautiful area here on the Emerald Coast. So I made this video about filing homestead exemption because this is a true story. My last 2 listing appointments, I usually go and discuss homestead property taxes and portability tax credits with my sellers, and I found out that 2 of my sellers who owned property in Florida for 10 years did not file homestead. So let's talk about homestead exemption. Homestead exemption gets filed from January 1st to March 1st. So if you forget to file homestead and it's, let's say, March the 15th, you have to wait another year to file for homestead. Why is this giving you such a huge credit, tax credit? Well, number one, if you are married, you get an additional $50,000 towards your property taxes. So if your assessed value, let's say, is $500,000 as a married couple, you now can deduct $50,000 in a tax credit. So you're paying property taxes only on $450,000. If you're single, it's only $25,000. So what do you need to do in order to file? Number one, the first important thing is, let's say you close on the property in November. You need to go immediately and establish residency in Florida. That means you have to go and change your driver's license, and you have to establish that you are now a full-time resident in the state of Florida. To get information on how to file homestead exemption, you want to go to your county property appraiser side. This is the Walton County Property Appraiser. Of course, there's a different link for Bay County and also Okaloosa County. The main reason why you want to file homestead exemption is that it will reduce your taxable value of your property. The deadline for filing is every year by March the 1st. So I sent a reminder notice to all my buyers in January, and believe it or not, there's usually one person that forgets to file by March 1st. What happens? You just have to wait another year before you can apply for homestead exemption. So don't miss that deadline. So it's really important that you have legal title by January the 1st in order to get the benefits of filing homestead exemption. So if you are writing an offer at the end of December and for whatever reason your closing gets delayed to January the 2nd, you gotta wait another year before you can file homestead exemption. So you will need your evidence of ownership, your deed that you are going to get mailed after, usually it takes a month after you close on a property, you get a copy of your deed. You need to have your W-2 and tax return, Social Security card, and of course, you need to have a valid Florida driver's license. So you need to show that this is your primary residence. So for an example, let's say your property value, assessed value is $500,000. If you are single and you file homestead exemption, you take a $25,000 credit. And if you are filing jointly and you're married, you can take a $50,000 homestead exemption credit. So let me show you an example on how homestead exemption reduces your property tax liability. So here we have the assessed value of $373,000, and there is the $50,000 homestead exemption credit applied. And then in So the total taxable value is $323,000. And then in Florida, we also have a really cool thing which is called the Portability Tax Credit. So if you own property in Florida, and let's say you live in your home for 5 years and now you purchase another home in the state of Florida. It doesn't need to be in Walton County. It could be in South Florida, in Miami or Orlando. You can take your portable tax credit that you accumulated, and that will give you an additional savings towards your property taxes. The other really important aspect is if you file homestead exemption, so you have to live in your home at least 6 months in a day, it has to be your primary residence, taxes can only go up 3% per year. Versus if you are an investor or it is your second home, property taxes could go up to 10% per year. So that, my friends, is a huge savings. Are you curious what your property taxes are on any type of property you're purchasing? Well, the tax estimator site has this amazing link. Look at it. You can type in your just market value. Remember, I always roughball that you approximately pay 1% of your sales price in property taxes. So if you're purchasing a property valued at $500,000, estimate roughly to spend about $5,000 on property taxes. But for the example I just provided, take a look at this. So let's say the market value is $373,000. And if I don't check the homestead exemption box, and of course I don't have a portability tax credit, and now my property taxes would be $3,613 for the year. Now, by filing homestead exemption, there are some additional exemptions that you can apply for. Now, if you are over 65 and you make a limited income, that you're retired and you're only making $20,000 a year, you get an additional tax credit. Also, if you're serving the military, thank you if you do, and you're a veteran, there are also additional tax credit you can apply for. So check on the county appraiser sites and see what additional credits you can qualify for. Let me show you how this can change. And then let's assume your portability credit that you have accumulated over the last 10 years because you have owned property in Florida. And now take a look at how your tax liability all of a sudden goes down to $2,433. Now let's take out the senior exemption and compute it again, and there you go, $2,614. So you can play around with this awesome tool on the Walton County Property Appraiser side and pretty much calculate exactly how much your property taxes will be for this year. So Walton County, Okaloosa County, and even Bay County, you have to go to the Property Appraiser website, and they all have their own application, and you will find all those links in the bio if you're trying to access the documents on how to file for homestead exemption. Now, the other reason why you want to establish permanent residence in the state of Florida is because we are one of the best asset protection states. So when you own property in Florida and somebody sues you or somebody files a lawsuit against you, they cannot take your personal home away from you. So that is why, my friends, you need to file homestead and establish your primary residence in the state of Florida. The other reason why is filing homestead such a big credit. So let's say you own a home for 10 years, and every year the county comes out and they do and reassess the property value of your home. If you filed homestead, property taxes can only go up by 3%. If this is your second home, or an investment property, property taxes can go up to 10% each year. So if you own a home and you have owned it for 10 years and you never established residency or filed homestead, your taxes were going up on increments of up to 10% each year. Think about that. Think about all that money that you could have saved. Lastly, let me talk to you really briefly about portability tax credit, but I will do a separate video on it, so click on the link here and I will explain to you what that means. But just to give you a little bit of a teaser, anytime you move within Florida from one home to another, you accumulate portability tax credit you can take over to your new property. So this is what I do when I go on a listing appointment. I look at this data and I let my seller know if we sell your home and you're purchasing a new home inside Florida, even if you are moving out of the county, like you're moving from Walton County to Okaloosa County, or you go into Bay County, as long as you stay inside Florida, the portability tax credit can apply. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please remember to subscribe. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Remember, I am your resource. I want to make sure you make the right decision. And thank you. If you have any question about how to file for homestead and you need to reach out to me, I'm always here for you. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye. Tschüss.